Καλησπέρα κύριε Ραφαήλ.
Καλησπέρα, τι κάνετε?
Μια χαρά. Χαιρετισμούς από την Αθήνα. Έχετε. Είμαι πολύ χαρούμενος που μιλάω μαζί σας. Είσαστε ένας Έλληνας από το Λεβάντε, από την ευρύτερη περιοχή της Συρίας και έχετε πολύ ενδιαφέροντα πράγματα να μας πείτε γι' αυτό. Τη συνέντευξη θα την κάνουμε στα αγγλικά, όπως είπατε, καθώς είναι η γλώσσα που μιλάτε καλύτερα. Οπότε, my first question is that I would like to ask you what's going on in Levante, in the territory of Syria, and there in the Middle East, because it is not widely known that there is still Hellenism and Greeks there.
There's a good reason there's little known about the Hellenism in the Levant, because for many years, or actually centuries, since the Russian programs started in the Patriarchate of Antioch to Arabize all the Greek Orthodox of the Levant, it was kind of lost in the sense of history, so to speak. But for at least now 10, 12 years, people are waking up, because now you cannot censor history with internet. So people are finding out by themselves that, well, we are not Arabs, one. We may speak Arabic, but it's not very strange. For 1400 years, we're Arab occupation. But it's not a central movement. It's people finding out by themselves about the Romaic history and you know, Hellenistic history in the Levant is always disguised as Roman. So even if it's 300 years before the Romans, they say it's Roman history just to keep Hellenism out. But now there's grassroots movements all over Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, even southern Turkey around Antiochia, so to speak.
What kind of movements? You mean about movements to show up again the Greek roots of the people there?
Definitely. The movements are, like I said, it's not central. It's people themselves realizing and forming cultural movements to try to reconnect. To first of all, what's closest to the Levant is, to be fair, it's not Hellenism. It's the Byzantine Empire and the Romaica. It's the language. I don't know what to.
Romaica.
Yeah. So that's the first thing they associate to. And once you're down that path, I mean, history is very clear. You come back to the Seleukidon, and before that was Alexander the Great. So history can't. Once you open the road is pretty forward.
Why this didn't happen earlier? Why especially now people, individually, as you said, have this tendency as to look for their roots back?
I believe personally that the war of Syria, when it started in 2011, people realized that, you know, even if we embrace Arabism, even if we say to the fellow Arabs that we are Arabs, they will never accept us as Arabs. So the Arabism itself, it fell apart. And people, you know, a vacuum, of course, will if something falls apart, it will create a vacuum. And people were starting to search in this vacuum for okay, we've been taught we are Arabs all our lives. You know, we can always tell we're not Arabs because we have a different culture than they have, even in the time of Arabism. But I believe the biggest thing that happened was the war in Syria, the fall of Pan-Arabism. I think you say Pan-Arabismos in
Yes.
Greek. When this fall apart, people start to actually look for their roots. And that's how this entire thing started.
So this is a result of the, let me say how I understood what you said, of the chaos that was provoked by the Syrian civil war, right?
Yes.
With all those ethnicities and the jihadists fighting each other.
All the ethnicities fighting each other. You had a lot of sectarianism. So you had even within, like, for example, the Muslim community, you had the civil war within the Muslims as well. So this entire nationalistic approach of, you know, we all speak Arabic, we are all Arabs, which is, if you think about it, it's not so. I mean, you tell me someone in West Africa and someone in Saudi Arabia or Levante is the same ethnicity. It's not. It's an obvious lie. It became so obvious, especially when everything fell apart. So people did their own research, and I think the biggest event was formed by the forming of a party in Beirut in Lebanon. They wanted to call it the Greek Orthodox party, but they were not allowed by the authorities. So they changed name to Levante party, but it was a party for the Greek Orthodox of the Levante. Before the war in Syria, the biggest minority was the Greek Orthodox, over 1.5 million present in Syria. In Lebanon, I think you have close to 500,000, if not more. I don't have the most recent statistics.
Those are huge numbers, Mr. Rafael. 1.5 million, 1 million, those are huge numbers. All those people to declare that their religion is Greek Orthodoxy, right? Very big numbers. Yes?
It's big numbers. I mean, you have areas in both Lebanon and Syria which are exclusively Greek Orthodox. There's an area in Syria, for example, it's called the Valley of the Christians. I don't know how many villages, but say 10, 15 villages, all of them Greek Orthodox. You will not find anything between. You have in northern Lebanon, the Kura district, also the predominantly Greek Orthodox. Tripoli, the name of it, the city says itself. It's an old Greek Tripoli.
If we went there to those places, me and you, now, we would find people that they would declare to us that they are Greeks or Romni.
Definitely. And I think what many Greeks that I speak to that go visit these areas is that I heard it as late as yesterday from a priest who went to Syria. He said, if the signs were not in Arabic, I will think I'm in a village in Kriti. So all the customs are the same. I tell many Greeks, the only difference between us and mainland Greece is the one day, Oche day. Otherwise, we have the same holidays. We have the same exact tradition for everything. There's only one day that differs us from. And of course, Greek Independence Day, but it's also celebrated in Damascus and Beirut today.
Where do you think this, let me say, the awakening of the nationality can lead?
And my people, so to say, so it's kind of a personal reflection. We don't want to become like the Pontians, like a refugee group coming to Greece. That's not the point of this awakening. The awakening is that we are a unique Greek descendant group living in the Levant. We don't want to leave the Levant. We've been there for 2,000, 3,000 years almost, right? So we want to form our own unique Greek identity within the countries we exist. That's what we hope it leads to. But this is also very dependent on what is the Republic of Greece going to do. Because right now, there has been very little connection between Greece and the Levant for almost a century, except for the priest. I know the churches have very good contact. I know our priests, they go to study in Thessaloniki, for example, and they come back. I think Greece plays a vital part in this. Also Cyprus, of course, because Cyprus is the link between the communities. Because right now what we have, because of the situation of the war, is a heavy Russian influence. And Russia has never been Philo-Hellenic. It's always been anti-Hellenic. What I'm afraid is that financially or whatever they are trying to do now, it will give a backlash into some new type of invented identity instead of the true identity of the people.
So what should Greece do? The Greek state and the Greek church as well?
There was a few proposals. Greek schools, teach the people to speak Greek. I mean, like myself, okay, I'm diaspora, but my children or their children, they need to reconnect with the language. That's the most important one. Our clergy now, they speak Greek. So the priests, the bishops, all of them speak Greek, but the people don't speak Greek. I know there are attempts to open some Sunday schools to teach Greek, which is a very positive sign, but it needs to be more. I think also a cultural connection of some sort, because it seems so distant. Now, Greece is part of West Europe. We are part of not even Asia. We're part of the Middle East with the outside influence. I think awareness. Do the Greek people know there is 1.5 million in Syria, 700,000 in Lebanon? I don't think many people do. This itself will create some extent. But I mean, everything I say now is a start. How do we reconnect the communities together? In the long term, I think we need to have much deeper bilateral relations with Greece. We also need some sort of protector.
I believe we have a lot of things to learn from you, and you have a lot of things to learn from us as one thing, as Hellenism. Thank you very much, Mr. Rafael.
Thank you very much.